Sometimes when people think of a small town, they think of a place that everybody knows everybody knows everybody's business, everybody has a church, everybody has a place to fit in. A small town, just like any other place.
How are you?
People who are new, people who are looking for a meaningful relationship, or people who are looking to make that connection with God.
So many we're searching, we're looking for a church and, trying to make that connection with God.
I have so many precious memories. We had what we called soft starts. And I was at all three of those services, the soft starts and the grand opening. And I was so amazed at the enthusiasm of people who were serving in the bands and serving as volunteers and serving in production. And the non-church people who came even to the soft starts, just the enthusiasm was amazing.
Hello, this is John Sicking. I'm privileged to respond to your request to share a little bit about your 20-year history. My experience was I was part of the Synod of the Heartland staff and working with helping start new churches. When Russ Mullenberg invited me to come to his church and share, because he had an interest in wanting to do new church work. We met on a Saturday morning with his leadership team, and after I went home, Russ called me and invited me to come back and meet him in Grundy Center in a coffee shop, which is on the west side of town, which I think was in the currently the Landmark restaurant. And we spent quite a while talking about the church plant. And then someone came up to our table and introduced himself, and I didn't even know anyone was in the restaurant, and said, Grundy Center needs a church like that.
Some of my most foundational memories at Orchard, Grundy County would definitely be running between the theater and the Farm Bureau building to help get things going for kids ministry. And then as our family grew, getting to drop our kids off at the nursery next door. So there were 3 different buildings we were kind of running between on Sundays. I think my favorite memory would have to be some of those first weeks when we finally were in the new building, getting to just drop our kids off and walk down the hallway to go worship with a group of people under one roof, which was really nice when it was cold or rainy. Getting to actually experience that space together as a church, I'll never forget that.
The theater days when I was too afraid to be on stage, but Trey and Quentin and all these people were like, Chris, you can do this. And so I stood on the side off the stage, played guitar, and then one day I remember Katie Green at the time, came from Cedar Falls and was like, I thought you were singing today. So you're singing today. And
put a microphone in front of you and the rest is history.
Grundy County, we're really excited to see what the next chapter looks like, and we're going to be cheering you on.
Absolutely.
Hey, Orchard Hill Grundy campus, so excited to celebrate with you today. 20 years of great faithful ministry. As I received the email from Brian, I couldn't help but think of all the times we prayed for a place that we could worship in where our feet wouldn't stick to the floor. And that with many other prayers we prayed that people would be saved, that people would find connection there, and God answered all of those prayers. And so as you celebrate 20 years of God at work in you, I just want to encourage you and challenge you to think about what are your feet sticking to these days as you begin to dream about what the next 20 years of ministry will look like out in Grundy County. Maybe there's some things that, yes, you need to stick to them and hold on to them. And maybe there's things that you need to let go of. But I'm sure that God will lead you and guide you. And remember, Jesus said, he who abides in me and I in him will bear much fruit. And I pray that God will continue to bear much fruit as you stay connected with him. God bless.
I'm Quentin Musig, and I remember loading up my Subaru Outback with 4 or 5 adult volunteer musicians from Cedar Falls to drive out and lead worship in Grundy Center. There were some pretty serious winter roads that we drove through some mornings, to the point where snow would pack up into my wheel wells and the tires would grind against the snowpack. but we made it. Congrats, Grundy OHC.
Hey, Orchard Hill, Grundy Center campus. My name is Russell Mullenberg, and I was the first campus pastor. I helped start the campus there in 2005, partnering with Orchard Hill when I was pastor at Pleasant Valley Church west of Fern, and then for 3 or 4 years I served as the first on-site pastor. Congratulations on 20 years, and I'm hoping for another 100, another 200 years, or until the Lord comes, that ministry in Grundy Center will continue to thrive.
Morning. Welcome to Orchard Hill Church. Glad you could be here to join worship with us.
My name is Sarah Reber, and I had the opportunity to help with the music in Grundy when I joined the Orchard Hill worship team as an intern in 2006. I have great memories of the carpooling on Sunday mornings between Cedar Falls and Grundy, loading our instruments in and out and setting up and just getting to know the people in Grundy Center. I remember that we would always try to get some community time as a band, but we didn't really have a space where we could go and make a lot of noise during the services. So we would usually spend one service's teaching time racing over to Casey's across the street, frantically eating a snack and talking, and then racing back to the theater so that we could help lead worship after the teaching. And there were definitely some times that we were a little late. But we just had such good community there. One of the things that has stuck with me the most about my time in Grundy in the earlier days is just the resourcefulness of the people who were building that ministry. There was always someone who was ready to help. We would tear down after the services and wrap up all of our cords, put away all of our instruments, and we just had this mob of people there to help every Sunday. There was always someone there to help. If problems came up, there was always somebody ready to step in. So Grundy, thank you for your faithfulness, your hard work over these last 20 years. And congratulations, and here's to many more.
Hey friends from Grundy County, Brad Hillebrand here. My wife and I are privileged to be in Grundy County in 2014 to 2018, where we lived out at Lincoln Center. Some of the memories that come to my mind: Steph Roller's amazing race with the Friends First Ministry. What an epic adventure. And the students would stop out at Lincoln Center, and I got to share the true story of a woman who had been buried alive in that cemetery. And boy, did that freak some kids out. I also remember when the building was getting built, and we all gathered together and wrote prayer requests and scripture on the studs and floorboards of the very church that you guys are sitting in. And I just know that God has been doing amazing things there and will continue to do amazing things through his people. So it was a privilege and honor to be a part of that community for the years that we were as we were raising a young family.
The groundbreaking out at the property where we built the building, Peter's Construction was there, and we prayed, and we had an outline of the building, and that was one of the first places that I went publicly after the tragedy with our family. And that was just so filled with hope for me. And now to see what the campus has become today, to God be the glory.